growth. Each meeting has 3 parts. The first part of our meeting is the prepared speech section, in which members take the time to prepare a speech and deliver it to the club. The second part of our meeting is the table topics section, where members and guests can participate to practice and improve their impromptu speaking skills by answering questions given by the table topics master with 1 to 2 minute responses. The final part of our meeting is the evaluation portion, where speech evaluators provide feedback on prepared speeches. Additionally, the functionaries will deliver their reports to help everyone enhance their public speaking skills. However, tonight we do have a special meeting because we are going to have a workshop led by Mr. Jonas Breb. Here is his introduction. Jonas Breb is a leader, speaker, and lifelong student of communication. He joined Toastmasters in 2013, not because he was confident, but because he wanted to become confident. Over the years, he has discovered that public speaking is not just about speaking. It's about thinking clearly, expressing ideas, and having the courage to stand in front of others and be heard. Through Toastmasters, Mr. Breb has had the opportunity to travel, compete, lead teams, and help others find their voices. He became a district champion in impromptu speaking, and today he serves as district director, supporting hundreds of clubs and thousands of members in their journey of growth. But beyond titles and achievements, what matters to him most is impact. He believes every person has something valuable to say. Communication and leadership are skills you can learn, practice, and master, and they will shape your future in ways you can't imagine yet. His goal is simple: to help you become more confident, more capable, and more comfortable expressing who you are. Everyone, please help me welcome Mr. Breb as he shares his insights and expertise with us today. Mr. Breb, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Angelina. Thank you very much. And hi, Henry, Howard, and Hillary. I hope you enjoy your dinner and you will be joining us, or probably you are in front of the computer or iPad right now. I wanted to have a meaningful discussion with you on the topic of improving your communication, improving your speaking. I suppose that was the topic of today's meeting: how to improve our speaking, be more elevated, and to be able to speak in all sorts of circumstances. Oh, it's totally fine. I want you to come off mute in just a little bit. No worries. Angelina is recording the presentation. Maybe if somebody has interest to look at the recording, they will be able to hopefully get something of value. Let's start with the question. Why do you think it's important to improve our speaking? You can either type it in the chat or come off mute. Why is it important to improve our speaking? Anybody courageous enough? Just your opinion. It's not a right or wrong answer, just your opinion.
Personally, in my opinion, I think public speaking is an important skill to have because it's a skill that you're going to use throughout your career and throughout the rest of your life. And in order to properly communicate with other people, you need to be able to articulate and tell other people exactly what you want to say.
And why is that important, Angelina? Why would you say it's important to be able to articulate your ideas, to share your message, to communicate with any sort of audience that you have, whether it's one person or 1,000 people? Why would that be important to you?
I think being able to make an impact on other people and also to inform them or help change their lives in some way.
So you pointed, I observed a key word over there: to have an impact. We want, whenever we speak, no matter how casual or formal, we want our speaking to have an impact. For example, if you have a younger brother or sister and you ask them, could you please bring me a glass of water? That communication that you send out, you want it to have an impact. You want them to do what you have requested. Or a classmate, could you pass me the Sharpie? Could you pass me the ruler? Whatever. When you speak, you don't want to speak just for the sake of speaking, but actually to see a result in turn, right? Anybody else? Henry, do you have any ideas? Why is improving your speaking important for you? Not for older people, for people in general, for you.
Why is improving speaking important?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Okay, you can think about
okay.
it. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. There's no right or wrong answer, Henry. It's whatever you feel like. What's important for you?
Just so you know, I can communicate with other people. Like, speaking is pretty much the most effective, most common way of communicating with people. Writing is limited and is too slow, and pretty much every other form of communication requires you to have something on hand. Speaking can be done at any time and is the quickest and easiest way to get a message from your mind to someone else's.
That's very good, Henry. And now with the all the development of the AI, probably it's at your fingertips. You can create videos and you can create images and put, you just ask a question, it's gonna give you 10 pages of an answer. As we are probably by the time you will be entering the workforce, you're going to have your own businesses or your own jobs. The AI will do so much for us, like it does right now. It's unbelievable. 2 3 years ago, I was not dreaming to do with AI what I'm doing today. So that all of a sudden, because AI somehow levels out the field, anybody can use AI. So then the difference perhaps will be made by those that are able to communicate, as you said, Henry, face to face, to connect with that without ChatGPT, without Claude, without all these AI apps, and be able to come up with ideas and persuade people on whatever the topic is, right? So when you look at the subject of improving your speech, your speaking, you could use a superficial approach or you could go on a more deeper level. Do you know what superficial is? Can you define what superficial is? Anybody? Yeah, go ahead, Henry.
So superficial just means like you're not thinking deep, you're just thinking surface level, how it looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Superficial is, well, mom tells us, hey, go clean up your room. And you just go and, you throw the clothing somewhere or you make your bed real quick, but without, really, taking care of the sheets properly or doing a deep clean or, mopping the floor, whatever. You just do it like a little bit, just enough to see a little difference, but not enough to truly make a difference, right? So whenever you speak, you can approach it from a superficial perspective or a more deeper, detailed perspective. And well, if there's one thing about me is that I do not like superficial things. I do not like to do things just for the sake of them being done. Therefore, my proposal, my suggestion to you to give you the whole idea of the entire speech is that if you want to improve your speaking, there are three things you need to improve. There are three things, and you're going to see how they come together. First, in my personal opinion, you must improve or build your character. Do you know what a character is? What a person's character is? Any idea? Again, you can give your own definition. Help me out, somebody. What is character?
Well, a character is basically just like someone's character is kind of like their personality. Also, how they speak, how they do things, basically how they are as a person.
Who they are as a person. Okay, that's a very good answer that you gave me, that you give us, Henry. So character is, we could define character as who we are as a person, like all the qualities, all the things that we are interested in, all the values that we have, um, the sum of who we are, right? And then we want, perhaps, when we speak, one of the first, in order to have effective communication, you want people to what? To believe you, right? Because what's the point if you are so good at speaking, like all the little tricks and techniques, and you know how to move your body and to use the gestures and the eye contact and the voice, all the things you master, but you don't have character and people don't believe you. Does that serve any good? So at one point, as you grow up, when you will be speaking, people will be listening to you because of your character first. For example, do you have in your life a person that you truly respect? You look at that person and you're like, man, that person, I admire that person. Who is that person? Or don't give names, but maybe you give us some examples. Do you have such a person in your life? Like a person that you truly admire. Admire meaning you look at them with respect, when they say something. No, there's nobody that you can think about. Maybe a professor, or maybe somebody from your family.
I think for me, the person that I admire most is probably my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very optimistic person, and he always likes to do things and do them with meaning instead of just doing them to brush it off. So I think I really admire those qualities that he has.
Mm-hmm. So you have just described beautifully your father as being a person that is optimistic, that likes to do things the proper way. You kind of described us the character of your father. Your father is always positive. No matter the problem that arises, he's going to find a solution. And then also he does things in a way that is, excellent, that, he's not just surface level, he's not a superficial guy. Now, let me ask you, if you were to be lost in the Amazonian jungle and you're a group of people, and obviously you're lost, your phone doesn't have any signal, you don't have a map, and your father, comes and gathers you all around and starts speaking and says, hey guys, don't worry, we will find a way. We're gonna, have this person climb the tallest tree, or we're gonna put a fire, we're gonna do such and such thing, and we're gonna get out of this, issue that we're in. Would you, if your father specifically will speak, would you believe him when he would communicate with you?
Yes, I think I would definitely believe him.
Correct. Because first, you just told us that your father is optimistic. Like everybody's crying, like, oh my God, what are we going to eat? Oh my God, where we're going to sleep, how we're going to get back to the airplane or whatever. But your father, because you said that one of his qualities is optimistic, he's able, because of his character now, in a very tense situation, to provide meaning and have an impact on your group because of his character. And then the other quality that you described about your father, that he wants to do things well, you know that he's not gonna just play games with you all saying, yeah, everything is gonna be good, let's just sleep over here, and by tomorrow morning the police will rescue us. And no, because one of his character qualities are that he does things by the book, and with a lot of meaning. He will take matters in his own hands and start finding a solution. So because of his character, all of a sudden his speaking is important to the entire group. Again, as you grow up, you can do some more research. What does it mean for a teenager to develop character, etc.? Maybe you are at the point in time where you will decide, hey, what's truly important for me? Me, Howard, what is important for me? For me, it's important to, I don't know, discover new things, curiosity, right? So then curiosity becomes one of your values. And then what you want to do with that value that you chose, that concept of curiosity, excellence, integrity, etc., is you want to develop more of that into yourself, to be as curious as possible, as excellent as possible, as passionate as possible. You can think about all the values that are available for us to choose. And you are now, right now, at a stage in life where you got to pick your values to say, what type of person do I want people to know I am? I want people to know that I am a very courageous person, right? So then, what stuff that have to do with courage can I do to build my character up? I'm going to recap. In order to improve your speaking, in my perspective, the first thing we need to do is to develop our character, because we're going to be known for the type of people we are. So then when we speak, people will believe us. The second part that we need to develop in order to improve our speaking is the content, the subject. We're saying over here, yeah, we want to speak well, we want to influence people, we want to have an impact, but on what? Like, can you have an impact on life on Mars? No, none of us can, because we're not scientists at NASA, right? But if I would have the qualifications, be a NASA engineer, then all of a sudden I have the content, because I have the school, I have the knowledge, and I can improve my speaking with you, telling you about potential life on Mars because of the content that I have. So the next challenge that you have as teenagers is to constantly develop the content. Maybe you pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 areas that truly interest you. Maybe as, video game development, or maybe it's math and science, maybe it's robotics, engineering, ocean science, whatever it is. You want to figure it out as soon as possible so that you can start building content. And I'll tell you why. Because when you develop content and when you speak, in order to improve your speaking, when you have enough content in your luggage, you want to apply the iceberg method, or the iceberg concept. You know what an iceberg is, right? What is it? What's an iceberg? Anybody? What's an iceberg?
An iceberg is basically like an analogy for something where you can see a little bit, but actually it goes much deeper.
Correct. Yeah, I'm pasting a picture in the chat right now. So an iceberg is basically a massive chunk of ice, which 95% of it's under the water, right? So when you speak, you want to be like the iceberg. Whatever is on the surface is what you say. What do you say through words, through sentences, body language, etc. But that doesn't mean that you speak everything you know about the subject. In fact, most of the things that you don't say are still within your brain, right? So then basically what I'm trying to say is that when you have enough body of knowledge about the subject and you stand up and you speak, you got to be like an iceberg. The thing that is heard and seen, it's got to be just 5% of what you know. Because one of the personal goals that I have in communication, every time I give a presentation, including today, I want people in the audience to say one thing, and that is, I wish Henry spoke a little bit longer about whatever Henry was speaking about. Or I wish Angelina would speak more about leadership, because she just gave us like a little tiny bit. When you are done speaking and people have that reaction, oh my, I wish Howard would have stood up and gave a 1-hour presentation on the subject of, I don't know, ocean exploration, then you know that you have done something right. Then you know that you have made them curious, that you kept them interested, and that they want to know more. So again, the second point is developing your content. Because if you're not going to have content, what's going to happen, Harry, right? You're going to stay a superficial speaker. A person that goes on and on and on and rambles about the same thing like a broken cassette, or like a broken CD player, if you are familiar with those. The third part from the communication that we need to improve in order to have more impact is obviously the delivery. So the first one was the character, who we are, right? The second part is the content, what we say. And the third point is how we say it. And oftentimes when you speak about improving your speaking, everybody thinks about, oh, how can you have eye contact? How can you modulate your voice and have the pitch and the speed in your voice so that you can have an impact? Well, that's just superficial, because if you don't take care of the first two, of the character and the content, the third one, you're just, like training. You're just having a superficial training, and soon enough people are going to understand that there's not a lot of depth in what you're saying, right? When it comes to how we deliver the communication, probably you are familiar with the communication pie. Like I'm going to paste it in the chat right now. And over here, these are some research that's been done years ago. And the experts say that out of the entire communication, when you stand up and present a project in your class, 55% of your communication, it's within the body language, your facial expression. If you're happy, if you're sad, if you are curious, if you frown, if you are, however you position your message, right, in your body. Then 38% out of the entire pie of communication, they say that it's given by the voice. As I said, if you're happy, your voice must sound happy. If you are scared, same. The tone, if you're serious. Usually your parents, when they're serious with you, are they like going, hey, Angelina, I want to tell you something very important. I'm so upset on you. No, Angelina, I want you to come in the kitchen because we need to talk. So they lower their voice, and the rhythm and the melody of the voice, it changes because of the content. And only 7%, the experts are saying, actually what we say, the words matter only 7% out of the entire pie. So all of a sudden we say, well, what I say is not that important. Yes, it is important, but it's also important how you say the words. And this leads us to the conclusion of how to improve our speaking. First is you make sure your character is on point. You stay trustworthy. You stay credible to people. You don't have any gaps in character where like people, oh man, I don't know if I can trust your notes because he's always promising that he's going to do stuff and he never does it. So all of a sudden, that becomes part of my character as a person that is not serious. Like I overpromise and I underdeliver. So taking care of the character constantly. By the time you're 80, you're gonna still need to maintain your character and build your character. Second is the content, the expertise. Gather as much knowledge as possible, and you have all the knowledge in the world. We have it over here on this phone. Like we can research anything we want. We can research from our phones or computers. So we don't have any excuse for not being smart content-wise. And the third part is how we share that message. For example, when you have a presentation that is formal, do you think it's advised to show up in shorts and flip-flops and a baseball cap? No, because nobody will take you seriously. Like you got to dress appropriately. And when you dress, appropriately, you want to choose the proper colors. Navy blue is a color that inspires trust. So deep down in your character, you know that you are a trustworthy person. But maybe the people that you're speaking to, they don't know you. Like, they're going to see you for the first time in their life. So then you want to help them to trust you. So choosing a very neutral, dark color would help you do that. Then also the accessories, the watches, the chains, the earrings, if you want to keep those minimal because you don't want them to distract from the message that you're speaking. That's also very, very important. Then when you stand up and speak, your shoulders must be straight, your back should be straight, and you should pose confidence, right? You should have a lot of confidence. And also, be the easiest way to remember it is whatever you say, try to match your words with your voice and with your body. If you are super excited about the new project, the new job that you have, your voice needs to tell that you are excited, and your body language needs to show that, yes, there is excitement in all of my body because of this new job or new project that we're having at school, and the opportunity to travel to Antarctica and see, save penguins over there, right? So you got to be you got to have a synchronicity between the words, the body, and the voice that you're doing. And the last part from improving your speaking is no shortcut. Unfortunately, I don't know no ChatGPT prompt to speed it up. It's just practicing. I've been in Toastmasters for 13 years. For 13 years. And you can imagine I gave probably over 1,000 speeches so far. And I'm still not good. I'm still not good enough. I'm still not perfect. I still have a lot of things that I need to fix about the way I present and the way I connect with the audience. So that's why I'm still a member of Toastmasters, and I will be for many years from now, because it requires a lot of practice. Then when you speak, you can think about you're giving a presentation, but you're also speaking when you're having a conversation. Just yesterday, I was meeting some people for lunch from a very, very big and, well, very rich company, I should say, over here in Orange County, California. And I've met one of the owners. And I said, well, I have no idea about his business. Like, I don't know much about construction, because they are building hospitals and they're building apartments and, the sky rises and all those type of buildings. And I approached the gentleman and I said, hey, Joe, this is who I am. I'm just curious about how you entered into this. Like, how did you decide on this career? And what I did for about 20 minutes, I asked him sincerely, probably 10 or 15 questions. At the end of the conversation, after I listened actively, he said to me, man, you're such a great guy. But all I've done is just ask questions. Just ask questions. There is a book that I've read many years ago. I don't know if you've read it or not, but it has a very interesting title, and I promise you're going to find it very useful. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Oh boy, that's a good read. If you read that in middle school or high school, you're set, because it reveals a lot of secrets about how to interact with other humans and how to speak with them, etc., etc. To recap our little presentation over here, in my perspective, if we want to improve our speaking, we need to take care of the character, we need to take care of the content, we need to take care of the way we speak, the delivery, and third and fourth, we don't need to ever stop from practicing. That's how in 5 years from now, you're going to look back, you're going to say, oh boy, did I grow? Did I have gained so many other speaking skills and leadership skills because I've been a part of this Gavel Club? And the answer will be yes, quite a lot. Again, this is a lifelong project that all of us are signed up for to improve our speaking. And I believe that you are in the most amazing context to apply yourself to the Toastmasters program and to be able to practice your communication on a constant basis. If there are any questions or comments or threats, if anybody has any threats, I can receive threats as well. If not, then I'm going to wrap it over here because I understand that the mind can absorb what the seat can endure. With other words, you don't need to be boring. You need to be brief when you speak. You don't need to like go on and on and on and on. Say what you have to say. Make a summary of what you said, and then boom, let the people go. Because you don't need to be boring. Like that's one of the greatest sins in communication, to be boring. And I hope I haven't committed any sins. I hope I was not boring to you today, because then I'm gonna need to work really, really hard on that. Back to you, Angelina. Thank you very much for allowing me to be here with you and share.
Thank you so much, Mr. Brev, for that brief workshop. Does anyone have any questions? Last call for questions. Okay, if no one has any questions, then I believe we can proceed with our regular meeting. So thank you again, Mr. Brev, for hosting our workshop. And apologies that many of our members weren't able to make it today, but I will be sure to share the recording with them so that they are able to learn from you.
Sure, no problem. Now, I do want to ask if you would find it inappropriate if I would drop off. I need to go and meet with the mayor of my city. And it's at an event. Do you want me to stay for the rest of the meeting, or is it okay if I drop?
No, no worries. There is a certificate of appreciation that I did prepare for you.
Oh,
I will send that to you after the meeting. But yes,
thank you so
you are
much.
free to
Thank
go
you.
if you have other things that you need to attend.
Yes, I need to go to meet the mayor because we want to take Toastmasters in some schools over here in the city, and I gotta be persuasive with him. Thank you very much for understanding, and I wish you a beautiful, beautiful meeting.
Yeah, thank you so much. And good luck with your meeting with the mayor.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a really small group of people today, but I have not prepared anything for an actual meeting. So are you guys interested in doing table topics or debates?
Sure.
So Hillary, I believe Eliana, Caleb, and Claire all emailed me saying that they weren't able to make it. So that's and also I'm not sure what happened to a few of the other members, but I guess a lot of people weren't able to make it today due to like AP testing and other upcoming exams. So are there any ideas that you guys would like to do for the rest of the meeting? I believe we have around 20-ish minutes. Okay, I see Howard said table topics. Does anyone else have any ideas that they would like to input? Okay, if not, we can do a couple of table topics questions, although since there aren't many people today, maybe a little short. Does anyone have table topics questions prepared that they would like to use today? Okay, Hillary, no worries. Thank you for letting me know. I'm glad you could join us tonight. Okay, I can pull up some of the table topic questions that I've used in the past. Okay. So then I'll ask the first question to Howard since Howard wanted to do table topics. So my question for Howard is, if you could erase one day from the past, what happened that day? And if you had a chance, what would you do differently?
If I could erase one day from the past, I believe what I would do is I would be a menace to society and erase Christmas 2021. Why? No particular reason. So let's imagine the consequences of erasing Christmas on the year 2021. It's the year after COVID. Your grandparents finally came. Whoopee! Bringing the presents, you have the tree set up, a Christmas dinner is prepared. And then suddenly, you jump from Christmas Eve, the 24th, to the day after Christmas, the 26th. Chaos would ensue. Children would be crying, and it would be hilarious to watch, to see everyone confused and wonder where the missing 25th would have went. Thank you.
Thank you for your response. I think that was a really unexpected answer, but I think I enjoyed listening to it, and I think it would also be really interesting to see what would happen. Also, unfortunately, there are no functionaries today, so I do not know how long your response was, but I feel like it was a little under a minute. Okay, for Henry, your question is, and this is a little harder, so let me know if you want a different one, but your question is, if your life had a theme song that played whenever you entered a room, which song would it be and why?
A different one.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Your question is, if your shadow could speak, what secret story would it tell us?
Oh no, that would be really bad. If my shadow could speak, it would probably release all my deepest, darkest secrets into the world immediately. I mean, it's a shadow. What would you expect? First of all, it's my shadow, because my shadow is always there. It it would probably leak my search history, and and maybe something very embarrassing that happened in 2017. It would prob it would probably also tell everyone tell you guys every single time I've ever I've ever failed in any way and completely embarrassed myself, which is unfortunately surprisingly often. Finally, it would probably cap that off just to finally it would probably end by saying hmm, okay, it would probably my shadow would probably say one last thing about me just to rub salt in the wound by telling everyone about by telling everyone the cringe memory I still have from when I was 5 years old. Thank you and bye.
Thank you, Henry, for your response. That question was also a harder one. But I believe you were in the safe zone for the time. I looked at the clock and it was about 1 minute and 30 to 45 seconds. So that's perfect time. The feedback I would give you is probably to try and shorten your pauses, but I understand if you need time to think, and I think that happens to all of us as well. But overall, I think your response was very good, and you handled that question very well. So we still have 15 minutes left. Do you guys want to continue doing table topics, or would you prefer to do something else? Because due to the small group, table topics might not take very long. Okay, so I did want to ask something. Um, okay, I think since our workshop was pretty brief today and also we don't have very high attendance, we can probably end the meeting early. But before I end the meeting, I do want to ask, out of all three of you, which who's going to be able to make it to next week's meeting? That will be May 6th. Okay. Hillary said she will. Henry? Okay. So I know a lot of members have AP testing next week, so they've informed me that they won't be able to make it. And I'm not sure if you guys would still like to have a meeting that week since it'll probably only be a few people. And since me and Eliana are both not going to be able to make it, I was wondering if any of you would like to be the interim president if you are able to make it. Okay, so Hillary isn't. I think since attendance will be really low during next week's meeting, are you guys okay with skipping a week? Because I don't want the meeting to be like really awkward and unproductive. Oh, by the way, Howard, I believe you can stop recording now.